you be surprised if your name has been mentioned?
Oh, no.
And even some of the issues we had was that some of you, the teachers, have impregnated some of the girls.
But why are you asking all these questions?
Are you waiting till your name is mentioned before you answer?
I'm not the right man to answer that question.
Human beings are human beings, and they are not easy to deal with. So once in a while, or somewhere along the line, you see some other people or human beings behaving like animals.
Don't miss the all-new JN exclusive series every weekday at 7 p.m. on Joy News on Multi TV. From the Joy News Center. This is News at 8.
This is a prime time bulletin here on Joy News on Multi TV. Coming up, President Mahama confident in the security and ability of the security agencies to ward off any attacks from terrorists, but insists on international collaboration. And then the year-long dispute with Argentina over the detention of the warship Ara Libertad has come to an end. Workers of Intercity STC end strike over poor working conditions. Residents of Volta region town of Weta worried about the fate of development projects started by the late Professor Kofi Awono. And latest investigations into Nairobi mall attacks suggest the suspected militants rented a shop in the building where they stashed their weapons in anticipation of the attack. We also have business, sports and showbiz all coming up.
News at 8 with Israel Lai.
President John Mahama has expressed confidence in the ability of the country's security agencies to ensure Ghana is safe from terror in the wake of the terrorist attack on the mall in Nairobi, Kenya, which claimed more than 60 lives, including the renowned Ghanaian poet and statesman Professor Kofi Awono. The attack has also reignited fears Ghana could be a target, a position further elaborated by a travel advisory issued by the United Kingdom of Ghana on Ghana and other African countries. It says are vulnerable to strikes. Despite his confidence in the security agencies, however, President Mahama says international collaboration will be needed in the war on terror. He spoke to the BBC Focus on Africa program from New York.
I believe that with this kind of militancy and terrorism, nobody is safe anywhere in the world, and so it needs an international partnership to be able to defeat the people who want to inflict such terror on us. And yes, Ghana has been spared any such attack, but there were threats of asymmetric attacks as a result of the situation in Mali. And so I believe that our Ghana security forces are on top of the issue. We have confidence in them to be able to keep us safe, but I guess that we must forge international partnerships against terror. We have two main flashpoints. The first is Boko Haram in northern Nigeria. And of course, the other flashpoint is what happened in Mali. I believe that in addition to making sure that our countries are secure, I mean, by having our security services on top of the situation, we must, in our individual countries, also pursue a policy of social inclusion. All our people must have a stake in the survival of the state. And so that's an issue that we need to look at and promote seriously.
The Food and Drugs Authority in the Upper West Region has seized and burnt unregistered products from Tobinco Pharmacy worth 15,000 Ghana cedis. The consignment found at the warehouses of the company includes Jasonate. The authority only last week issued an alert about the drug because it says it could not vouch its efficacy. Rafiq Salam's report from Wa.
According to the acting Upper West Regional Officer of the Food and Drugs Authority, Gordon Akurugu, as part of the FDA's regulatory mandate to ensure the safety and efficacy of drugs, monitoring fake, substandard and counterfeit products to get them off the market. Gordon Akurugu said inspection was conducted at the company's warehouse and post-market surveillance that revealed that some of the company's products imported from a pharmaceutical company in India were not registered. The unregistered products, which cost 15,000 Ghana cedis, were destroyed at Seriyiri. He revealed that over 100 products of the company which were manufactured in India are also not registered. He called on the public to be on the alert and report to the FDA any drug or product that they suspect may endanger the lives of the people. For Joy News, Rafiq Salam's report from Wa.
Upper East Regional Minister Alhaji Limuna Mohammed Muniru has directed all district and municipal assemblies in the region to provide at least one suitable accommodation for medical doctors. This, he says, will encourage doctors to accept postings to the region. The minister was speaking at the opening ceremony of the 12th Annual General Conference of the Medical Superintendents Group in Bolgatanga. Albert Soares report.
The 12th Annual General Conference of Medical Superintendents Group was held on the theme Integrating Clinical Care and Public Health for Accelerating the Attainment of MDGs 4 and 5. The conference, held from 25th to 27th September 2013, brought together medical superintendents and directors from all over the country to dialogue on issues relating to public health care. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the conference, Upper East Regional Minister Alhaji Limuna Mohammed Muniru bemoaned refusal of doctors to accept postings to the region. He therefore charged district and municipal assemblies in the Upper East region to provide accommodation for doctors to encourage them to accept posting to the area.
3 years ago, in collaboration with the Regional Health Directorate, my office instituted the policy of each district assemble financially supporting the training of 5 medical students with formal agreement to help curb the menace of doctors refusing postings to the region. Today, I am proud to announce that a sizable number of medical students, nurse trainees, and other health professionals have been committed to this way by some of the assemblies. I hereby direct all municipal assemblies to provide at least one suitable residential accommodation for a doctor or an additional doctor in districts without and those with doctors respectively. My office takes this particular interest in this respect and will monitor and support assemblies to achieve the intended purpose.
Albert Soares report.
As many as 55,000 of the humans who die worldwide each year die as a result of dog bites. Statistics from the World Health Organization says most of the deaths from rabies occur mostly in Africa and Asia. Children are the main victims.
According to the Ghana Veterinary Medical Association, 61% of diseases are caused by animals. Ghana records 752 dog bites every year. Though the year has not ended, 152 humans have been bitten by dogs, infecting them with rabies. More than 55,000 people die from rabies every year, mostly in Asia and Africa. 40% of the people who are bitten by animals suspected to have rabies are children under 15 years. Dr. Osei Bonsu is the president of the Ghana Veterinary Medical Association.
Rabies is very endemic in Ghana. And when we say endemic, it means it is living with us. And so we need to do something about it. If we cannot eradicate it, we need to do something about it to ensure that we reduce it as much as we can. We, as members of the Ghana Veterinary Medical Association, would like to use this forum to state our position. And our position is that we need to do all that we can. And today, I am calling on the Ministry of Agriculture, the Veterinary Service Department, for us to find a way of conducting nationwide rabies. And it must be free, it must be compulsory, and after we have finished it, there should be run-ups.
At a media briefing to mark World Rabies Day, the director for the Veterinary Service Directorate, Philip Salia, said awareness has been created in the 10 regions on the deadly disease.
In Ghana, we are observing the day by creating awareness on the prevention and control of the disease in the public, to the public. Regional veterinary officers in all the 10 regions have been assigned to organize awareness creation meetings with pupils in basic schools in their respective regions. School children are the most vulnerable when it comes to dog bite cases and rabies.
Rabies is a highly fatal viral disease of humans and all other warm-blooded animals. The virus is present in the saliva of infected animals and is generally transmitted by the bite of animals, mostly dogs and other carnivorous animals.
Jubilee field operator Tallow Oil has pledged to collaborate with the Volta River Authority and the Ghana Gas Company to see to a speedy completion of the gas processing plant at Tetrabo in the Western region. The pledge was made during a visit to the site by officials of Tallow and VRA. Western Regional Correspondent William Benjamin Peters has filed this report.
Officials from Tallow Oil and the Volta River Authority embarked on a familiarization visit to the site to acquaint themselves with the progress of work so far. Officials say any delay in the completion of the project will be a major setback for the two companies, especially now that Volta River Authority spends about $3 million a day on the purchase of crude oil for power generation instead of $1.5 million. Officials from Ghana Gas and Sinopec briefed officials on progress of work so far, assuring of the aggressive efforts towards the completion of the project. Work is about 72% complete in terms of engineering, procurement and physical construction of the various components. 2 out of the 3 storage tanks have also been erected together with the ethanizer and debatanizer. Apart from the initial financial challenge which has been addressed by government, the major anticipated challenge to the completion of the project is the loss of the container which contained some components for the project on high seas. The general manager of Tallow Oil, Charles Darko, in a statement said both parties should form a value chain and work together to ensure the completion of the project.
All we want to do is to work together, and this visit sets the tone for that work together to go on. And then for us as professionals to, sort out any issues we have technically and complete the project in time for the country's benefit. What will happen with that is that our technical people will sit down together and drill down into the details there and come to an agreement on the schedule. So I'll leave that for that technical discussion.
So in effect, you are satisfied with the progress of work?
Well, satisfied, yes, but there's still a lot of assessment analysis that has to be done in terms of the details, and that's why the technical meetings have started.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Gas Company, Dr. George Sipayanki, said efforts will be put in place to meet the gas need of the country.
We are working very hard to complete this project so that the cost of production of power will be reduced, and we hope that with that reduction, it will be also translated or transferred to them, so that they'll be paying lower or cheaper tariffs for power at lower than the rate at which they're paying right now. We also hope that when this project is completed, we will be producing our own LPG and try to also meet at least a percentage of the domestic needs. I believe in the next 9 months, when we retrofit our turbo expander, we'll be able to even to meet the entire LPG needs of this country. And that will mean a big savings on foreign exchange, which is used to import LPG into the country.
The director in charge of the Thermal Generating Department of the Volta River Authority, Engineer Richard Ni Ajimfra Baja, called for the processing of the gas sales agreement to avoid its impact on the project.
I do not see anything significant, but I still have to say that we have to keep focus on the risk areas between now and commissioning. One area that concerns me is on the VRA side, that's the gas sales agreement that we have to complete with Ghana Gas. And I think that we have to quicken it up so that it doesn't impact on the completion date and the commissioning and the use of the gas.
Authorities of Ghana Gas now anticipate the project will be completed in March 2014. William Benjamin Peters report.
Argentina and Ghana have resolved a year-long dispute over the detention of an Argentine naval vessel that came to dock at the Tema Harbor. The settlement at the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague, the Netherlands, brings to an end a year-long dispute between the two countries. The dispute arose over the High Court's order in October 2012 to arrest and detain the Argentine warship La Libertad while on a goodwill visit to the port of Tema. The agreement was concluded against the backdrop of a recent Supreme Court decision that the seizure of the warship was a violation of the immunity it enjoys under customary international law. The Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Honorable Mrs. Marietta Brew Appiah-Oppong, led Ghana's delegation to sign the agreement with their counterpart from Argentina, and is the outcome of months of negotiations. Under the amicable settlement, Argentina has agreed to discontinue the arbitration it initiated and has dropped all financial claims against Ghana. A statement from the AG's department says the amicable settlement provides the opportunity for Ghana and Argentina to strengthen the existing friendship and bilateral cooperation in various fields, including agriculture, science and technology, defense and maritime affairs. We have more news coming up on the bulletin going away. Workers of STC have resumed work after a two-day strike which left passengers stranded. Chairman of the Workers' Union, after a meeting with management, tells Joy News they received assurances most of their grievances will be addressed before December.
The workers' strike was over poor working conditions. Their complaints, among others, is their meager salaries that they say have not been increased in 10 years. Another complaint is their provident fund, which they say is not properly accounted for. So for the 2 days of the strike, the workers made sure no passenger could ride on their bus, even though some had showed up to buy tickets. The union chairman, however, says the passengers can now ride their buses because the issue has been resolved.
Actually, we had a brief discussion for about 2 hours, and they promised to come to our aid within the shortest possible time. But meanwhile, they've asked that the financial controller, who is in the person of Mr. Nuhu, should proceed on leave by Monday, and they are going to dive into the issues at stake by Tuesday.
He, however, says they will not hesitate to start another strike if management fails on its promises.
We are not going to wait till even that time reaches, because we have to see, as they promise, weekly there is going to be reports, and that they are going to call our attention anytime that they meet.
Even though the strike was called off, the STC terminal was virtually empty, with no passengers to board vehicles. Eric Curtis Howard's report.
Elsewhere, after weeks enduring consistent defecation in their classrooms, teachers of the Presby Kindergarten School at Tethla in the Volta region have decided to stop teaching to demand an end to the practice. The toddlers, as a result, are on forced vacation until the teachers have a change of heart.
For about 2 months now, teachers and pupils arrive in school almost every day, only to see their classrooms discredited, letting off a foul smell of human excreta. What seemed to have broken the resolve of the teachers, however, was the discovery one of those mornings of blood splashed on their furniture. The assembly member for the area says the teachers were therefore forced to send their pupils home that day, refusing to resume teaching until a lasting solution is found.
This is not the first time. This is even the 10th time. Defecation in the classrooms, slaughter of animals, carcass of animals, hanging around the windows of the school children. For yesterday, we rang the office of director, GES director. Yeah, she came down. The directorate came down to have a look at it, and they asked the children to go home. There's going to be a community meeting on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday 3 o'clock. We'll meet on this issue.
Some residents noted the absence of lights in and around the school compound and the lack of a fence wall have allowed the practice to fester. Some of them whose wards are in the school expressed their disgust.
Ajabe school alebe wall wato abola enti na wa gate le enu ekama estevio de view na nya be mi amolo mi nya sichala yo lebe mi ya sichapa mi nya be mi oviola tepoyola ele save se ekama manomia na mi jola de view gbo ye enuma jonamado de view jova pama anya nu ika diefuna.
Apart from the defecation, the classrooms themselves are not in good shape. Over 200 pupils are crowded in these poorly ventilated classrooms, along with the health risk. The numerous holes in the school's roof also means the pupils have to contend with the leakage each time it rains.
This shed behind me also serves as one of the classroom blocks for students of Tefle KG Presby School. The new classroom block, which is under construction, has been halted due to lack of funds.
Officials are appealing to authorities to help complete the classroom block for the kindergarten pupils and also fence the school to prevent the public from encroaching on the facility. They also called on the security agencies to conduct thorough investigations into the matter in order to bring the perpetrators to book.
The divisional chief of Pristia, Himang Nana Ntubapra IV, together with 5 other divisional chiefs in the area, have condemned acts by some youth groups there, they say, has a tendency of driving away investors. The traditional leaders say that youth must rather be encouraged to employ dialogue in addressing their challenges. William Benjamin Peters' report from the Western region.
The press conference was to address some of the issues that came up during a recent public hearing in the area, which was alleged to have led to some clashes between some youth groups and the joint military police present at the function. The divisional chief of Pristia Himan, Nana Ntubapra IV, addressing members of the media, debunked claims of a misunderstanding at the public hearing and rather praised the calm atmosphere through which the program was organized. He again condemned the notion by some residents that the chiefs are in bed with the company, explaining that they only want peace in the area. He, however, admitted that all is not well, especially in terms of the contribution of the company towards the development of the area. He also called on the media to ensure that it cross-checks information received about the people and communities before publication. Nana Ntubapra also spoke against some individuals who are hiding behind the youth group to create uneasiness in the area.
We want to applaud Golden Star Resources for their community development initiative, where they give $2 per every ounce of gold mined to community through the GISOP and GSTEP. We expect them to do more with the coming of their new projects and not to relent on their efforts to effectively engage with all their stakeholders. This is not to say, however, that we are selling our birthright to condone any wrongdoings and or abuse of our environment and kinfolks by Golden Star Resources. Should we have any justifiable reason to believe that such abuse has been committed or are being committed, we shall unanimously use all means to expose and condemn such as we have done in the past.
The Environmental Protection Agency has cautioned scrap dealers and utility companies to get the transformers and capacitors they work with tested negative on polychlorinated biphenyls or BCBs. BCBs, which are toxic oils according to the EPA, can cause cancer and other defects in the human reproductive system through the food chain.
Ghana hitherto used PCBs in cooling transformers to prevent overheating, as they do not easily break down and lose their properties. Ghana, after committing itself to the provisions of the Stockholm Convention in 2003, which is an international treaty to eliminate the use of persistent organic pollutants to protect humans and the environment, identified PCBs as part of these pollutants. This is informing the EPA's project to eliminate them from the country.
They are toxic, very toxic. They can cause, they can actually cause ill health. They cause reproductive, defects, and they are also known to be, cancer causing. So many of the problems that people face, these days about cancer, kidney failures, most of them are attributed to exposure to some of these toxics. And so the project that we have, is being sponsored by the Global Environment Facility under the Stockholm Convention to give Ghana, a way forward in trying to get rid of them. The Stockholm Convention stipulates that we phase out these chemicals, by 2025. Okay. So we are starting early now so that we can at least get the capacity within Ghana to see how we are going to recover them from the system. So this will help Ghana because after 2028, then it will become, it will be on the budget of the government of Ghana to do this. But the project is helping us now, and this is an advantage.
The EPA under the project is to take inventory of about 12,000 transformers, but has sampled 9,856, with 10% of those sampled testing positive. Government, on its part, has developed draft legislation on the control and management of PCBs and aims at strengthening the institutions involved to deal with the menace.
The development of legislation on PCBs is expected to check this gap, and also arrangements are in place to ensure that all transformers and dielectric fluids imported into the country go through the necessary clearance checks by the EPA and the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. As part of this PCB capacity building project, the relevant institutions have been trained on the use of the L2000 PCB analyzers, and the equipment have been made available to the Customs, ECG, and VRA to enable them undertake the required checks.
The EPA has already assembled obsolete capacitors which tested positive, as well as 40 metric tons of the toxic oil at Tema, pending disposal through high temperature incineration outside the country.
Joy News Business is brought to you in association.
Hello there, time now to do business with me, Abigail Adumakoenchi. Now, government says it has instituted some programs which should reduce the country's debt substantially over the next 2 years. These programs included drastic cuts in funding for some social intervention programs, freeze on new road projects, and clearing of ghost names in the public wage bill. Figures from the Bank of Ghana reveal the country's debt as at August stood at 44 billion Ghana cedis. It translates to a debt of about 1,700,000 Ghana cedis for each year. There are concerns that this might compel government to increase taxes to finance the debt and also adversely affect the country's credit ratings. Deputy Finance Minister Kweku Ricketts-Hagen, however, tells Joy Business the measures should improve the situation. Now, the Bank of Ghana has called for a review in the way commercial banks are implementing the new formula for calculating base rates. It has subsequently directed the committee that led the implementation of the formula to carry out the necessary reviews and make the needed recommendations. Commercial banks earlier this year began implementing the new formula, which was expected to bring about some transparency in the pricing of loans and possibly drive down rates marginally. However, months after its implementation, there are still complaints about the effectiveness of the new formula. Away from that, cocoa farmers in the Ashanti region are appealing to government to increase the producer price of the commodity so they can remain profitable. According to the farmers, the recent increase in flour prices has further driven up the cost and cannot survive if cocoa prices remain unchanged. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin filed this report.
Over 90% of farmers in the Ashanti region are into cocoa farming, business that has sustained them for several years. Osei and Kwawashere are both cocoa farmers at Adansi Woroyi community in the Ashanti region. They have over 25 acres of cocoa farm each. Like other cocoa farmers in the community, Osei and Kwawashere intends to acquire more farmland for cocoa cultivation, but challenges from the planting to transportation stages keep them in doubt. The distressed farmers say the current price of cocoa is not encouraging and urge government to adjust it to favor their deteriorating conditions. They say they run at a loss after all deduction.
Kuko ni so aye na kama abanka obuan kaka krema o ye man spray man no so aban we twini nam afi bu no so awodi to kuko no so sila onkwenin yet fa ko e bata na we yimi wa kwasra kan wa tun wa ketem bu no wada mo na kwafo no ye wo fem wa.
The farmers say government's decision to put an end to the cocoa mass spraying exercise is affecting them and want the decision reversed. Local farmers are also challenged with poor road network in the community. After drying off the cocoa beans under the sun, transporting it outside the Adansi Woroyi community is cumbersome. Osei further explained. Until these challenges are addressed, farmers say their plight would continue unabated and will lead to drastic fall in cocoa production.
Now, the Auditor General has charged public institutions to maintain high standards of accountability and responsibility in the conduct of every public business. Speaking at the 4th Annual Accountability Lecture held in Accra, he also urged public officers to be diligent in the discharge of their duties.
The forum brought together various stakeholders to deliberate on issues that are targeted at enhancing transparency and accountability in the public service. The lecture was under the theme Public Ethics and Public Trust, Keystones to Good Governance and Accountability. The Auditor General, Richard Quartey, noted that ensuring transparency in public financial management system would help to strengthen good governance, allowing the citizens to hold public officials accountable. He called on public servants to be transparent in the discharge of their duties.
Everyone, person, entity or institution is required and expected to uphold and obey or observe the law and comply with right conduct. Ethics and ethical principles are therefore critical in helping public sector office holders to make better decisions in the procurement as well as utilization of resources entrusted to them to provide public goods and services for the general welfare of their citizens.
The president of the Ghana Bar Association, Nene Abayate Amegacha, called on the Audit Service Department not to undermine the powers vested in them in ensuring accountability and transparency in the management of public funds.
There is general sense of public mistrust in our public officials, and as a constitutional body in charge of auditing the management of these funds, the Audit Service needs to be able to perform their duties with utmost professionalism.
He also urged public servants not to be intimidated by the influence of political powers in the discharge of their duties and eschew activities that will result in conflicts of interest. The majority leader in Parliament, Dr. Benjamin Kumbo, advised public servants to conform to the Code of Conduct, which clearly defines their operations, urging them not to abuse the position to which they have been called to serve the people of Ghana.
Very significantly, the political leader and issues of ethics and trust, all of them do not address our society. The political leader is a product of the Ghanaian society. The office holder is a product of the Ghanaian society. What are the value systems of the Ghanaian? Before you can talk of ethics and trust, you must find out what are the leading ideas that make the Ghanaian tick.
The private and public sectors were reminded to establish strong internal controls to provide effectiveness and efficiency.
And that'll be all for business. My name is Abigail Adumakwenchi. Do have a blessed weekend.
Sports is brought to you in association.
Time for the very latest in the world of sports. 26 players have been selected into the Women's Under-20 national team for preparations ahead of the 2014 Women's World Cup qualifying of next month. The called-up Black Princesses squad will gather at the national camp in Prampram this weekend for their initial screening and fitness tests. Ghana play Guinea-Bissau in Accra, the first leg qualifier on October 26. Two sports at the 5th Under-20 Women's World Cup are for grabs from the African qualifiers. Ghana FA President Kwesi Nyantakyi says the broadcast rights of the Ghana Premier League reached with Super Sports will hand clubs the opportunity to market themselves on a bigger platform and attract corporate bodies to sponsor. Super Sports signed a 3-year deal with the Ghana FA last week to produce and broadcast the Ghana Premier League and the MTN FA Cup. And according to Nyantakyi, the deal is a major breakthrough.
We may have suggestions to make and so forth. In some countries, it's shared across board. In other countries, a proportion is shared across board, a proportion is shared according to performance on the league table, and a proportion is shared according to exposure on television. These are all proposals that we'll consider and then do an acceptable formula that will benefit all the clubs. The contract with Glo has run out as I speak to you now. There are discussions for renewal, but that renewal is contingent upon they paying the arrears they owe us. We agreed certain days for payment of the arrears. The dates have elapsed without any payment being made to the Football Association. And so the FA will have to review the situation, take a position on the matter.
How soon?
Very, very, very soon. You just spoke to me today, so give me the benefit of the doubt that very, very soon we will meet and then come back to you.
All right, head coach of TP Mazembe, Patrice Caperon, believes Ghana is the best atmosphere to prepare ahead of a crucial first-leg semi-final Confederations Cup against Stade de Malien of Bamako. The DR Congo Giants have set up a 15-day training camp at the Lycée Sports Complex here in Accra to prepare for the game. Head coach Patrice Caperon believes Ghana will put his team in the best shape before traveling to Bamako for the game.
Yeah, of course. I discovered Ghana a few months ago, and I really do appreciate because we have to travel so far to go to Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco. That for us it's a fantastic place to prepare this competition.
Now you're in the semi-finals.
It will be a difficult game again, a very physical team, tactically quite perfect. Their coach is really good. In my opinion, the best team of the four I've seen is Sfax. They finish easily first of their group, and I could watch their games. They really play well. They are the favorites. And after, we all know that during a semi-final, everything is possible. This team of Stade Malien play very well away, has difficulties home, and we are very bad away and better home. So it will be a difficult confrontation against them. Of course, we hope to qualify, and most of the people think that TP Mazembe has won everything in Africa. That's not true. TP Mazembe has never won this cup, so I'd like to give to our president this cup.
All right, that'll be all for sports tonight. My name is George Adi Jr. Do have a wonderful weekend. Israel is back with international news.
Sports was brought to you in association with
Showbiz is brought.
The Hennessy Futura brand has been introduced onto the Ghanaian market for the first time with a colorful launch, which also saw a graffiti competition as one of the main activities. Among the three artists who competed, David Bethman emerged the winner with his own version of Hennessy graffiti.
It was an exciting moment for both art lovers and cognac patrons last night at the Kahaya launch where the Hennessy Futura brand was launched. It is the first time the brand has been introduced onto the West African market through Ghana.
Tonight we are here to launch the limited edition of the VS 1 liter and of Hennessy. So as all of you know, Hennessy is the most famous cognac in the world and the best and the most famous cognac in Ghana.
The launch was centered on a graffiti competition because the Hennessy Futura bottle was designed by a New York-based artist called Futura. Three artists, Prince Gojo Hilton, David Bethman and Ram Ank, were selected for the graffiti competition where they had to draw out the concept of the new Hennessy Futura. The idea is to see how other artists can also conjure some magic inspired by the graffiti created for the Hennessy brand by Futura. David Bethman emerged the eventual winner.
Yeah, it's really an honor to be here and it's really fun to be here. It's a great evening. Yeah, I enjoy it.
Meanwhile, all three artists were presented with a bottle each of the new Hennessy Futura and they were obviously happy.
This is not the end. I hope the next time I'm going to, quicken up, and the next time I'm going to take it.
I feel like actually it was a gain. Me being here is a blessing. Me being here talking to you guys is awesome. So I don't feel it. There was nobody lost.
Some patrons could also not hide their excitement over the drink.
I think this is a wonderful thing. I like how they've combined the Hennessy with an art kind of movement.
I think the Futura it brings a new face of Hennessy. It gives us an artistic view of Hennessy with the graffiti on the label and all that. I believe it's a very great innovation, and being a limited edition of Hennessy as well, I think it's good for the year.
Organizers of the art contest have described the event as an exciting one.
Now, Nigeria's sassy songstress Tiwa Savage has found herself in the news for the wrong reason. She showed up on stage without an undergarment. Now, could that have been intentional? I don't know.
That stars will pull up all manner of publicity stunts just for fame. With time, it has been proven that it isn't just a saying, but they actually do it. There is Ghana's own Raquel, who ever went on stage showing her private part, and eventually when she speaks on the issue, she said she did not care about whatever anybody thought and that she was focusing on her career. It probably worked for her because we always remember her for her wardrobe malfunction, with that as the reference. Picture of themselves on the internet. Well, the list is endless. Guess she's also going to say she does not care about...
I'm not sure I saw anything, but that's it for Showbiz.